Welcome back to my AI-powered mapping series. In today's video, we'll be integrating AI with a feature layer to dynamically display country names based on your queries. So we'll use Google Gemini to fetch country names and Esri Leaflet to highlight them on the map. So let's get into it. All right, so we're starting with our simple HTML structure that's linked to our CSS and JavaScript files. So we'll first need to include links to Leaflet and Esri Leaflet through CDN for their libraries. Next in the body, I'll create an input element for the user's query, a button to send the query, a div for the map, and a UL element for the queried countries. Now onto the CSS. So here I'm going to ensure that our map takes up a certain amount of the height on the page, leaving room for the queried countries list below. All right, now onto the JavaScript. So I'll first create elements for my API keys, which will be used to authenticate the requests to both Google Gemini and ArcGIS. Next, I'll create the map. So here I'm using Leaflet, which I will initialize the map with l.map with a latitude, longitude, and zoom level of my choosing. All right, then I'll go ahead and add a base map from Esri Leaflet to this. And I'll do this using l.esri.vector.vectorBaseMap layer method. And I'll pass in my authentication, which is my API key. All right, so now I'll go ahead and handle user input. So when the user enters a query, I'll send that input to the Google Gemini API using a post request. And in the fetch countries from query function, I'll go ahead and send the query to Gemini, and I'll ask it to return only the country names in a numbered list. So the response is parsed to get the country names, and we clean up the data by splitting the response into lines and removing any numbering or unwanted characters. Okay, so once we have the country names, we need to highlight them in the map. So in the highlight countries function, I'll create a query to search for the countries in the ArcGIS feature layer using the country field. So the countries are passed in a formatted query string. I'll then use Esri Leaflet's feature layer query method to send the query to the ArcGIS feature layer and get the countries matching the names that we've retrieved from the AI. And the result will be displayed on the map with a red outline. So next I'll go ahead and display the queried country names below the map. In the display countries function, I'm dynamically going to go ahead and generate a list of LI elements for each country and insert them into the UL element with the ID of country list. And finally, I'll go ahead and set up an event listener on the submit button. So when the button is clicked, we can call the fetch countries from query function to get the country names from the AI. And then I can use the highlight countries and display countries functions to show the countries both on the map and in the list below. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how this app works in action. So first we have this input field where I'm going to go ahead and enter my query. So for example, I'm going to type list the top 10 most populous countries. I'll hit the submit button. And then we can see all the countries identified by Google Gemini, highlighted on the map and listed below. And that's all. And that's it. Now you can query countries, highlight them on a map, and display the results, all with the power of AI. Thanks for following along, and happy coding!